Okay, so I'm literally driving home with the car in neutral and the blower on, but with the key off. It's not running, as you can see, RPMs no, not running, to prevent this head gaskets from annihilating themselves. See, now the temperature's going back down, see? Going back down. And I'm like a minute and a half from home, so I'm in neutral. I'm gonna see how far I can go without starting the engine back up. This is my life. Okay, now one thing I want to bring to your attention real quick are these lower crossover tubes from the bottom of the thermostat housing to the top of the water pump. On the Explorers, they tend to swell, and to an extent, they'll swell and they'll burst. So check the condition of yours while you're in here. If it looks like crap, replace it. They're very cheap. I get mine on Rock Auto OEM for like $7. There's no reason why you shouldn't replace it if it looks in really bad shape. Alright, what's going on, guys? On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to replace the thermostat housing on your 2002 to 2010 Ford Explorer or Mercury Mountaineer in 5 minutes or less. The only things you're going to need for this job is a drain bucket, a pair of vice grips, an 8mm socket, and a pair of pliers or channel locks. Here we are underneath the vehicle. We need to drain enough antifreeze so that when we remove the thermostat housing, it doesn't go all over the engine. You don't have to drain the whole system. Typically, it's like 1.5 gallons you have to take out. So I have my pliers here, or it's a 19mm if you want to use a socket. And do this when the engine is cold. You don't want to burn yourself. If your engine's cold and you want the fluid to drain faster, go ahead and take off your radiator cap so it's not pulling a vacuum. Okay, so for the sake of footage, I moved my 3 spark plug wires out of the way. You don't need to do that though. But once you have enough fluid drained out, we have a clamp here and a clamp here that we need to move. I like using vice grips because you can lock them in place. Once our clamps are out of the way, we're just gonna pull back on this hose, tuck it to the side, and this hose pull up and tuck that off to the side. Good, now we have our coolant temperature sensor. Push in, pull up, keep that off to the side. Now, this is especially where I like to use vice grips. I can't even talk today, wow, okay. We have one clamp down there. It's very hard to get to. So during the process, we'll use our vice grips and we'll keep the clamp locked so it doesn't move, like that. So once we undo our 3 8mm bolts, we can pull up on our thermostat housing, and the entire time our clamp will be sprung out. So now we have 3 8mm bolts. I don't recommend using any impacts or anything to get these out. They're very notorious for rounding off. Okay, so we have 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Bolts. Now we can simply pull up and right out of that hose that we have clamped. Beautiful. And there we go. Now down here on our aluminum mating surface, I'm going to use a plastic scraper, some brake clean, and some rags to get this nice and cleaned up. Thank you, bowbow, for the scraper. Alright, so I have my new thermostat housing. I'm going to leave the links of all the parts in the description. There is an aluminum upgrade that you can do. I know a lot of people like to do that. I'm not a fan of those. I'm just going to keep using the plastic ones. They're cheap enough and they're easy enough to replace. So with that said, all we got to do is get our outlet lined up with our hose that we still have clamped. It slips right in. Make sure it's up against the head surface. Now on the ends of the bolts, I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize because, again, like I said, they're notorious for snapping off. So hopefully in the future they don't break off if I have to take this out again. Alright, so I got my little bit of anti-seize. And I'm not even going to go crazy with the torque specs and everything for this procedure. You don't need them. Just go nice and snug. You don't want to snap these bolts off, and you don't want to crack the thermostat housing itself. And again, we are just going to go nice and snug. Alright, so with the hard part done, we can go ahead, unclamp our vice grips. Now we'll go ahead, slip our heater core hose over, get our clamp moved down, and last but not least, we will get our radiator hose up and over, and our clamp tightened down. What we got to do now is plug in our coolant temperature sender. Good. Alright, so on the 02 to 05 Explorers, you'll see a little mark on the side of the reservoir where you should fill the antifreeze to when the vehicle is cold. If you have a 2006 to 2010 Ford Explorer, we fill through the radiator cap and just fill it all the way to the top. Okay, so once we have the antifreeze filled to the proper level, I like to take the upper radiator hose and I like to burp the system a little bit. Sometimes you get some air down in there. You actually hear some bubbles sometimes come through the little jiggler on the thermostat. So you just burp that a few times. We're gonna start it up, we're gonna check for leaks, and we're gonna take it for a ride. All right, so I'm gonna let it sit and reach operating temperature, make sure it doesn't overheat. Once it's sitting for a few minutes and the needle's in the middle and it doesn't move, then I'm gonna take it for a ride. All right, so after taking it for a drive, the temperatures are in the middle, everything is good, there's no leaks under the hood, and that's it for today's video. Stay posted for the next one. Peace. A lot of garbling going on down there, a lot of steaming, a lot of garbling. It's always me, I'm always the one that like is driving around with the hazards on and the car turned off. But hey, it's the name of the game, right?